Welcome to Voices of Impact, a show where dreams meet action and change makers unite. We are your co-hosts, Brad and Kathy Lambert of KBL Impact Partners. You can find us locally in your city on My Genre Radio FM, Monday through Fridays at 2 p.m. Central. Also, we are televised on Valuable Television Network at 4 p.m. Central and Urban Core Television at 3 p.m. Central. You can find all 100 plus stations on A2 Media under radio and television tabs.
We are so excited to be with you today and our special guest, Mataka Askari. Michael is an incredible man and dad who has accomplished so much since we first met inside the Algoa State Prison in Missouri in 2017. Michael serves as a trainer and coach at Connections to Success in Columbia, Missouri, doing reentry work while also serving students at the Columbia Public Schools. Michael holds many certifications, including Certified Peer Specialist and Batterers Intervention Prevention Specialist. He is a former member of the State Advisory Council for the Missouri Department of Mental Health. He is a life coach, group facilitator, and an outstanding public speaker. On a personal note, Brad and I have known Michael for many years and have seen him continue to grow in his community, serving vulnerable populations. He's such an inspiration. When we come back, we will be joined by Mataka Askari.
Welcome to Voices of Impact. Michael, take us back to that first day you were incarcerated at Algoa State Prison. Kathy and her team came in to do a training for you and a group of men. Describe that experience.
So prior to me meeting Kathy, there was a vetting out process. And they determined people that they thought would benefit from what Connections to Success in the PPD the Pathways to Success in the PPD training would offer. They thought that it would be beneficial. So I did 23 and a half years in the Department of Corrections. So 23 years and 5 months. Now I go home in 30 days.
And this is in Missouri, correct?
Yes, Algoa Correctional Center. Yeah. And the lady called me up to the office and said, we have a program that they're putting on that we feel would be beneficial for you. And we feel like it could help you with a couple of things that you had been struggling with. Now, in my mind, I'm going home in 30 days. I don't want to take any more programs.
Right.
I done took all the programs I could take. I just need to work out, stay hydrated, and get home.
Right.
But she enticed me because she knew that I was struggling with a couple of things. I was struggling with the gap in my work history because I had been locked up 23 and a half years. So that would immediately in my mind expose me or bring up a warning sign that would prompt more questions that I was not prepared to answer. So that was like a scary area for me. I hadn't figured out a way to be able to do that. And then answer that felony question, the inevitable question that you'll get on a job interview about your background. I had not come up with a way to successfully answer that question that I felt confident about. So she said that they help with the felony question, they help with work histories, and they do resumes. And I had never had a resume before. And so I said, okay, I'm gonna give it a shot. So Kathy and Stephen Barbie came and they did orientation. And it was engaging, right? And I'm the type of person where I have to be engaged. I'm not, you can't be boring to me. And you know, Kathy got that effervescent and Stephen Barbie got that personality. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna give it a shot. So I came and I liked what I saw. And it was not like, we didn't even get to the work history and the felony question till later on because it was the personal development part of it at first. And one of the exercises that always stands out to me, and one that I use because I facilitate PPD now, is that tell us about your proudest moment. So many men and women struggle with identifying healthy affirmations about themselves. And so when I ask you to tell me about your proudest moment and then I'm able to identify and pull it out and give it back to people, the impact it had on me was great. But when I see what other people, how, like, you're kind, strong, you're an overcomer, you're powerful, you're intelligent, you're a great parent. When you have people who have been told the opposite their entire lives, to be able to hear that is not only shocking and startling, in a lot of ways it's hard for them to believe it.
Right.
And so PPD made me realize that a lot of the things that I had internalized about myself were misconceptions, right? And so it helped me redo or undo some of that damage. And it was great. The whole class was great. Kathy came in and everybody supported her and we had a good time. That ball of yarn was overwhelming. It's way more than just the felony response and closing the gap in your work history and a resume. I love it.
Incredible.
Yeah. And so when you talk about, you did 23 and a half years.
Yes, ma'am.
And so was it all in, did you move around to different places or?
Yes, ma'am. So I started off at the old Missouri State Penitentiary in Jefferson City, the one that they say is haunted by ghosts. It's haunted by,
what do you think?
No, it was haunted by real people. It was haunted by real people. I've never seen a ghost, but I've seen people. Yeah, so it was haunted by real people. So as a young man, of course, I'm going into this environment. You fear what you don't know, right? I can adjust.
How old were you when?
I was 23 when I went in.
23.
Yep. And so, I started off there. I ended up going to a place in Cameron, Missouri, Crossroads, Bowling Green, Charleston, Algoa, and then home. So, I did 23 and a half years, 17 of them were in the maximum security levels, and then I descended the custody ladder and made it out of the prison August 24th, 2018.
I know. I'll always remember that.
Yes, ma'am.
Always remember that. So with just a little bit of background on, so now, did you ever imagine that you would be now facilitating the personal professional development
with
connections to success?
I didn't have any plans on working for connections to success, but this is the beauty of it. Sometimes our path that we walk has ways to direct us to where we need to be. And so I am the type of person where I want to work with people who have similar situations because I want to be able to hopefully not only just be able to give them the information to get them confidence and let them know that they can live their best lives, but to exemplify what it looks like. I want to be the example. So I believe that, yes, hope, resources, and a plan, we can live our best lives, right?
That's right.
And so I just want to demonstrate the effectiveness of what the PPD curriculum looks like on a day-to-day basis, instead of just being somebody who teaches it or facilitates it, right?
Right.
So they see it working
in me.
Out. Yes, ma'am.
You live it out. So can you just share just a little bit for our audience about Connections to Success and what the mission is, and then the reentry work?
So the mission overall is to improve the quality of people's lives in our community by helping the people who are justice involved, because we have obstacles and barriers, right? Poor choices in the past have created present barriers. Some of those barriers can be discouraging, and if people run into barriers constantly in their attempts to try to do the right thing, then what it does is it becomes discouraging and people revert back to what they know, and then the communities are unsafe. What Connections to Success does is not only inspire people with hope. I remember when I was reading the PPD training, and I'm paraphrasing it, but I remember Jana said that you can teach people, you can tell them that they can build a house, but if you don't provide them the blueprints and the tools and the ability to use them, then you're just telling them something.
That's
so
right.
Connections to Success provides the blueprint in the form of the life plan.
That's right.
And the tools that we need, right? In the form of the support, the community support, the life transformation coach, the job developer. So we not only provide people the blueprint, they actually construct their own blueprint, because we don't tell people where they need to be. We ask them where they want to be, and we assist them in getting there, right? Because I can't tell you what your path is, but the tools and the support and the fact that lifelong engagement, right? I mean, you could go to another state, come back 20 years later, and we still available to you. And that's important, because sometimes life does not necessarily take an upward trajectory. Sometimes we go back down, and
Right.
sometimes we need help, you know. And so that's what Connections does. We have great resources. We have great connections with our community partners. We help people achieve educational goals, social goals, financial goals, health goals, employment goals. So all of these things are part of the blueprint or the life plan. And hopefully with hope, resources, and a plan, you can live the life you've always imagined.
Exactly.
So what were some of the barriers that you faced coming out? I mean, 23 years is a long time.
So I had a great support system. Most of the barriers that I faced were internal.
Okay.
So Kathy remembers this. So I came home from prison after 23 and a half years, right? I'm familiar. My body, my mind, everything has developed around that environment. So I'm used, and in prison, everything is safety and security first. I mean, the slightest deviation of a sound, right? That's not a normal sound, right? Something is going on. So it's a cause for concern. So your senses have to be heightened at all times. Okay, I get out of this environment. I lived like this for 20 some odd years. I get out of prison. I'm not able to shut it off automatically.
So when you're talking about that, you're talking about you yourself.
Me, myself,
Right.
individually.
That you're at that heightened awareness.
Yes. So I come
A
home.
different a sound or different things.
Yes, what happens is if it's unfamiliar, especially when you're in an environment where your life and your survival depends on familiarity, right? I have to know what's going on. When I hear a sound that's out of the ordinary, when I come on the yard and I see things are out of place, right? That is a cause for concern.
Right.
Something is not right, something is off.
And so you have to be aware of your back, your surroundings.
Yes, you have to be at all times because it's a dangerous place. So those skills I developed around that environment and those skill sets for 23 and a half years for survival. And then when I came home, I wasn't able to shut it off and I didn't know what was going on.
And I heard somebody say that when you're released after that much time, your body comes home right away, but it takes your mind 6 to 12 months.
It does.
To come
Maybe
home.
even more, depending
Yeah.
on how much time you did and if you were in solitary confinement.
Yeah.
Yes. So I was having issues. So I would wake up at 3 in the morning and constantly check the doors and windows because I'm hearing sounds that are unfamiliar. These are sounds that houses make. I'm not comfortable being by myself. And so I was two things that really brought this to my awareness. When I came home, we went to the farmer's market. The farmer's market is a place that's bustling with activity. So people are moving around, pivoting, trying to get around each other, and people are bumping into me. In prison, that's a no-no. I only been home a week. So nobody knows what's going on but me. In my mind, y'all shoulder checking me. It's about to be a problem. And so I'm self-talking.
Yeah.
Mataka, these people are not tripping. They don't even know you. Nobody knows what's going on. And I'm ashamed to even say it. So I'm keeping it to myself, right? I'm ashamed. So I just suck it up and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to adjust. So that was one thing. The houses, the sounds, getting up and inability to fall asleep and stay asleep, that was an issue.
Yeah.
But the main thing that really made me realize something was going on, we went to the movie theaters in early September. It was still hot outside. I had just gotten out. I went to see a movie and my daughter's mom, not realizing I had this thing going on, sat in the exact middle. So I have people in front of me, people in back of me, and people around me.
Wow.
This is not a safe vantage point for me.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Yeah, this is not. So I start sweating, Brad.
Yeah.
I'm looking around because I'm sensing danger. I see guys in hoodies over here. Now it's hot outside.
Yeah.
So now in my mind, because it's unfamiliar, I start playing out the worst case scenario.
Right.
I'm sweating.
Right.
I turn to my daughter's mom. She like, what's going on? Why are you sweating? I said, I don't know what's going on. These guys got hoodies up in here. I feel like it's about to be a theater show.
I'm going to interrupt you.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry. We got to take a break.
Okay, yes, sir.
What you're describing
Yes, sir.
is referred to as post-incarceration
Yes,
syndrome,
sir.
which we're going to dive into.
Yes, sir.
We are Voices of Impact, and we will be right back after a short break with our guest.
Join our Frame Up for Funding program, the 12-week accelerator by KBL Impact Partners. This proven program has helped nonprofits raise millions of new dollars by mastering donor engagement, or development and funded programs. With only 10 organizations per cohort, you'll get personalized coaching and a clear, achievable funding roadmap to drive success. If you're ready for an explosive 2025, please schedule a meeting with us through our website at kblimpactpartners.com. We'd love to hear from you.
Welcome back to Voices of Impact, and our special guest today is Mataka Askari, who we call Michael.
So, Michael, if you could take us back to right before the break and the movie theater, and just kind of revisiting that experience.
So again, yep, I did the 23 and a half years.
Yeah.
And again, I had developed a set of survival skills in that environment that kept me in a heightened state of awareness, because that's necessary to be able to make it out there. Prison is a dangerous environment. Half of my life, those skills carried me through that environment. And I could not just put them down, especially when I was going into another environment that I was unfamiliar with.
Right.
So the movie theater, we go see the movie. It's Tiffany Haddish and Kevin Hart. It's night school, so it's packed out there. It's a lot of people. My daughter's mom sits exactly in the middle of the theater. There are people in front of me, people behind me, and people on the sides of me. My spidey sense is going crazy.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm in an environment that I'm unfamiliar with. I'm not at the safest vantage point. And in my mind, this is a recipe for disaster.
Right.
So I look around, I'm scanning the room for danger. I see two guys in hoodies. In my mind, it's hot outside. Why do these guys have hoodies on? So as I continue to play this in my mind, it's an event is about to unfold.
Right.
I start sweating. Right. These are the physiological reactions to what I perceive as a threat. My daughter's mom see me. She like, why are you sweating? I said, I don't know what's going on, right? It's cold. I mean, it's hot outside. Why these guys got hoodies on? I think it's getting ready to be a theater shooting. This is what I told her. They might be getting ready to shoot this theater up. This is what my mind is telling me.
Yeah.
She said, I said, well, why do you think it's cold in here? She looked, they have hoodies on. She said, it's cold in here, right? This is what she told me. I didn't recognize the temperature at first because my body was geared toward fight or flight. And so she said, that's what she said. She said, it's cold in here. And I didn't realize that, right? And once she told me that, and it was cold in there, I became aware that something was wrong. Wow. And so that's when I reached out to you the next day, Kathy. And so I called Kathy and I was like, man, something not right. Right, I hear these sounds at night. I'm up, I can't sleep, I'm paranoid. I feel like people are always bumping into me. And so I knew that I was not functioning correctly. And so another thing that I wanted, the community that I come from, we don't do mental health, right? The term mental health is a synonym for crazy or weakness. So the very fact that I had some mental health issues that I had incurred as a result of being there, right? I was rejecting that right out the door. But when Kathy did the research and she introduced me to Post-Incarceration Syndrome and I ran through the symptoms, it described everything that I was going through. Yep, that exaggerated startle response, the hypervigilance, the inability to fall asleep and stay asleep, all of those symptoms start falling into place. And I had to come to a realization like, man, they talking about you. And so I was like, wow.
And this is really real, right?
I have people who go through it this in my opinion, now that I'm aware of it. And because I work with justice involved individuals who transition from prison to society. Yeah. Most of them have a form of post-incarceration syndrome.
Absolutely.
Most of them are at least in the 80 percentile range, at least.
Well, and you think about our world, and no matter how much time someone has done, our world changes.
Yes.
You know, technology. So, I mean, you probably didn't have a cell phone, right?
No.
Like,
no,
you had to learn all of these things.
And that was a barrier because when I went to prison, they didn't have the internet.
Yeah.
When I came home, everything was computerized. Yeah. And so, you know, like
even at the grocery store.
The hardest part for me technologically was doing a resume. I mean, a job application.
Fill an application online.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Because sometimes, you know, you put the email address in and you think you filled everything and you hit submit and it kick you back, you back. And I thought that I was doing everything. I'm not dumb. I can follow instructions, but man, And so I learned to navigate that a little bit.
You missed that one blank.
Yeah.
That throws everything off.
But if we don't teach people to navigate that stuff,
Right.
that can be frustrating.
Yeah.
Frustration leads to people reverting back to stuff that they're comfortable with.
Right. Yeah, you're exactly
Now,
right.
I heard you say earlier, maybe it was over break, that you now do trainings around post-incarceration syndrome.
Yes, sir. I've done a couple of them.
How do you
so
address
far.
this? What do you talk about with people?
So I talk about, so this is an example that I use. If I was struggling with substance use disorder, active in my addiction, and I hit the lottery for $1 million, would that automatically make my life better? Absolutely not. What it would do was give me access at the things that would hasten my death if I was active in my addiction. Right. If we do not get in front of post-incarceration syndrome, then anything else that we try to connect people with may not be successful, because you have to balance and manage the mental health. Some people cannot work with a lot of other people because they may have hypervigilance, right?
Right.
And so one of the things that we talk about, especially when we do our skills and our experience, are you able to work with crowds, or do you individuals or groups, right? And so that question is important, because some people do well by themselves, self-directed, solitude, able to do whatever they're assigned. Some people thrive in a social environment, but some people, sometimes you can't mix them up. And so that's important. PICS, understanding PTSD, allows us to understand what the person is struggling with, so that way we can offer them the best help. That hypervigilance, that means that you believe that an impending doom is always about to occur. In essence, it's an inability to feel safe.
So would you say that PICS is kind of a cause of the high recidivism that we're seeing?
It absolutely is. So when people, institutionalized personality traits that deal with post-incarceration syndrome, the lack of confidence because you have to explain away the fact that you haven't had a job in 20 years, right? Psychologically, that creates anxiety. That's fear. What do people who struggle with substance use, who do not have healthy coping mechanisms, do when they struggle with anxiety and they don't have access to medication? They self-medicate.
Right.
Right. And this and when you are when you put yourself back into that entire culture, right? What happens is you're using again. You don't have money. Using, you have to create, you engage in crime, right, in order to feed what it is that you've created. And when you re-engage in crime, it creates, it sets the stage for you to go back to prison. But the deeper part of that is, even with a person in prison, it puts the community is not safe. Not safe in a necessarily where somebody's going to kill or rob you. That's a possibility, right?
Right.
But if you go home and you come back and your 70-inch flat screen is gone because I needed to self-medicate because I got this anxiety, right? So it puts the community in danger. It's in the best interest of the community to make sure that people who have paid their debt to society, deemed by the Department of Corrections to be worthy of parole, have the necessary supports in place so that they can transition successfully with the minimal amount of barriers, so that people can be successful. Because most people coming from prison want to do the right thing.
Yeah, exactly.
They want to do the right thing.
Right.
They just get frustrated. They already feel one of the most, this leads to anxiety too, stigma. Most people walk into the room, and because they've been in prison, they think that you automatically know that they've been to prison.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't even know you. You hear me?
Right.
They know, or they know I've been to jail.
Right.
Yeah.
And I feel like, and when you say that, I just remember, doing, a lot of the training, a lot of the different prisons that we've been in, is that I just remember specifically some of the individuals tell me, I feel like I have a flashing sign above my head saying, felon. And, that everybody knows.
And that creates shame.
Yeah.
Toxic, like that shame is an issue, because if people don't believe that they're capable of doing anything, if I feel like I'm less than or I'm unworthy, then I can't even summon the internal energy to put toward doing anything different.
Wow.
Right. And so it's being able to help to take even some of those labels off.
Yes.
Too,
yes.
right?
Yes.
And, ex-con, felon.
Yep.
All of those labels to be able to have, instead, maybe justice involved.
Yeah, I like that. I like justice involved. I like re-entering citizens.
Yes.
So what I would like to do is create a culture where we understand that people have paid their debt.
Yep.
Yeah.
right? If the Department of Corrections has sent me through the necessary programs, if they deem based on their criteria that I'm eligible for parole, which means that the community is, I'm not in danger to the community.
Right.
If they say that I'm capable of doing that, then what happens is on the other end, as a community who are welcoming back citizens who have paid their debt, we need to have the support systems in place.
Absolutely. So just really quickly, how many individuals a year do you know that are reentering back into our community?
I think it's like, it's thousands. I know it's, so I did a PICS nationally, 60% of the population that is in the DOC, state and federal, re-enter into society.
60% have symptoms of PICS?
40%, 60% have symptoms of PICS, and then 40% of the people usually re-engage in recidivism as a result of PICS. That's what's identified by. So PICS is not in the DSM-5, but it's an emerging base practice. So people are understanding it, right? And they're starting to get quantified numbers and symptoms and stuff to be able to show how it impacts re-entry and recidivism.
And we'll talk, we need to take a short break right now. And so we will be back with Mataka and sharing more about the post-incarceration syndrome and the work that's being done through Connections to Success. Nonprofit leaders, Brad and I know that your time is valuable, and so is the work that you do. That's why we've created mini courses for nonprofit organizations that get straight to the point.
That's right. Each of our mini courses takes 30 minutes or less and dives into topics like building your budget, creating a fund development plan, writing successful grant applications, and having meaningful donor conversations. Perfect for busy leaders who want real results fast.
So head over to kblimpactpartners.com to learn more.
Start making a bigger impact and raising more money today. Welcome back to Voices of Impact, and we're continuing our conversation with Askari, better known as Michael.
From us. From us.
Other people
too. We're having a great conversation today and talking about post-incarceration syndrome, what Mataka refers to as PIC, and just listening to this, and I guess I'm so amazed that how well you've done.
Yes, ma'am.
And also in helping others. I mean, you're such an inspiration with the work that you're doing and through Connections to Success. And how do you help individuals? I know you've talked about, you've done Facebook Live, you've been able to, train some of these other individuals and bring awareness, and you do groups. But how do you help someone to move past that? And maybe they never do. Or to deal with it, what do you do?
So a couple of things. One of the things we have to do is normalize it and make it safe for people to talk about, because this is a form of trauma.
And you're talking about the post-incarceration syndrome.
Yes, ma'am, post-incarceration
syndrome.
syndrome.
So is it like any type of other PTSD?
It has the characteristics of regular PTSD. It shares all those symptoms, but it also has the institutionalized personality traits. One of them is a chronic sense of helplessness due to the suppression of lifestyle choices. You get out simply. Going to a restaurant after having somebody select your food for the past 20 years and having a million choices can be overwhelming. What I used to do, this is what I used to do. So when we first started going out to eat, I would wait to the last person order and I would say, "What are you having?" And I would defer and say, "I want that." I was not making my own choice. Yep, I did, and I don't want to hold everybody up.
Yep.
I'm overwhelmed. It's gonna take me an hour to make this choice. So just to make it simple, not seem out of place, not alert suspicion, like what is it, to seem abnormal, right? Because I don't want to be judged and stigmatized.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have what you having. Yep, that's what I did. And so that was one, because I was not used to picking my food. I was not used to paying bills. And so what happens is the lack of experience arrests you in your development. So a lot of guys come out 30 years later and they're incapable of navigating the most simple life things. Paying bills, right? Going to the grocery store. It's funny because I got my first apartment when I went home. When I came home, I got my first apartment within 11 months. And so in my mind, I'm about to celebrate. I'm finna get me a meal. I'm gonna watch my TV. And I said, I'm gonna pick me something. So I go to Aldi's. I don't really go shopping a lot because I don't know how to shop. Man, I said, I'm gonna make me something I ain't never had. I went right in there and got the ingredients to make the nachos that I made in prison.
The ones that you made in prison.
Yes, because that's what I was for.
That's
all I for 23 and a half years. So another way to help people is therapy and maybe medication, right? Support groups, reducing stigma. Because the worst thing people can do is feel judged. If I feel like you're judging me negatively, then what that does is take away my motivation to do the right thing, because I believe that I have no opportunity to succeed because you're judging me, they're judging me, I'm a felon. It's stigma associated with that. So in my mind, I'm not gonna make it. Right. So what that is it's just a matter of time before the world caves in on me. That's called the feeling of a foreshortened future. That's a PTSD symptom. I'm not gonna make it that long. Everybody's judging me. I'm not familiar with this
environment. They're telling me I'm gonna go back anyway.
Yep. And so you start to embrace this. You're having trouble navigating this environment, and you're getting negative feedback from people who already judge and stigmatize you. And you have nobody to help counter that, right? This is where the support groups come in. Support groups are so important for people who struggle. A place where, so this is trauma-informed care. Trust, safety, empowerment, choice, collaboration, and diversity. Trust and safety. You gotta know you good here. And once people feel safe and they feel trust, then they start to open up. We get to listen, right? So one thing Connections has taught me when we deal with communication, active listening and paraphrasing. Listen until people are done. Don't wait for a pause and jump in because you miss everything else. Once they're done, paraphrase it back to them. I think I heard you say this. So you'll know I'm listening. Right. And then once that a person knows that you're listening to them, that in and of itself creates trust. So now you know that I'll listen to you. And once that trust is established, it starts to open up the way for the introduction to information that can help a person manage the symptoms of post-incarceration syndrome.
So what can families do, loved ones do, that are welcoming home their family member?
No stigma, right? Definite support and love, patience. Study post-incarceration syndrome yourself so that you can learn how to support. It's funny because we don't even use, let me tell y'all something that's so beautiful. And Tara, my supervisor, made this call. We had a guy, he had come home from prison and he had a family member that was his sole supporter. He took the class in prison. She wanted to take the class. She wasn't justice involved. She wanted to take the class so she could learn how to best support her brother. And we did it.
I have
Man, she took the class. Yeah, she said, I just want to learn how to support my brother.
Wow. What a brilliant,
She went through that entire 60-hour course, that curriculum, sat through it, did everything. So she could learn how to support her brother. So family support, when your loved ones love on you, when your loved ones love on you, that is the motivator to make you say, even though it's a struggle, I got people who support me. I'm gonna try a little bit harder. And that little bit of effort, right, is what could get you over the hump.
Wow.
Family support.
Let me ask you, Michael, you've been out now for almost 7 years.
Yes, sir.
7 years.
Only thing I ever done more than 7 years in my life was being in prison, but I've been working with Connections for over 5.
Are some of those symptoms still kind of hanging around?
Yes,
Do you
sir.
still have flashbacks?
Yes, sir.
Do you still wake up once in a while at 3 in the morning hearing a sound that you don't know that kind of puts you on alert?
I didn't tell you all this either. This is another thing about post-incarceration syndrome. When I got my apartment, I slept on my front room's futon. I didn't sleep in my bedroom for 1 year.
For 1 year?
I had to sleep facing the door. If somebody comes through that door, I need to be there to meet them. I have no enemies, none, but in my mind, somebody's gonna come through this door. So I'm gonna sit right here I'm gonna sleep right here. So if I hear a sound, I'll be able to get. In my room, it's gonna take me too long. I may not be able to hear somebody messing with the door or the window. So my sleep pattern and the places I chose was based on safety. Right. It's way more comfortable in my bedroom than it is on that futon. But in my mind, anything could happen at any time. Hypervigilance and inability to feel safe. So I couldn't even take advantage of the comforts that I had earned because I was struggling with feeling like I was safe. But family is extremely key because we tend to take our identity, our self-esteem, and our inspiration from the people who love us. Right. And when we have our people, you can do it, encouraging us to do it, pushing us up out of our comfort zones. I feel like family support and the support of your peers, right, is so crucial to a person's reentry into society that if you don't have it and you spent a substantial amount of time in prison, that it increases the potential for you to go back greatly. I've seen so many people who've come home to nobody.
That's just so sad.
Yep.
That is so sad. So how can a family that, or, you know, maybe it's just only one person, but, you know, if it's a family, how can they stay engaged with individuals that are incarcerated? So what can they do to help prepare them for coming home? How can they stay engaged? So
one of the ways that you can help individuals coming home is to just information, right? Post-incarceration syndrome is you don't even realize you have this syndrome until you're free. It's after incarceration. So when you're in prison, so they said that there is a symptom that is suppressed in a prison environment. One of the symptoms, and I was like, I don't necessarily agree that it's suppressed. It's hidden because it's normalized, right? Something that's suppressed means it's hidden. Don't nobody know it. It takes time for it. Circumstances cause it to come out. I feel like it's not suppressed. I feel like certain symptoms are just normalized in prison. It's the culture of prison. So in some ways, it would be like you're a scout, right? I'm going ahead of you and I'm telling you, don't take this route. This route is dangerous. This route is safe. Yeah. So providing people with the information, you learning it, and then sharing it and discussing it with them is a way to help people prepare.
Pre-release.
Yes, pre-release.
So that pre-release work is absolutely key.
It's absolutely key.
And to have a plan, and I know that that's what you do at Connections to Success, making sure that everyone has a life plan, making sure that they have that support. And within that life, so you know, one of the goals, one of the parts of the life plan is health. Health is not just push-ups in the water, right? We're talking about spiritual health, mental health. Good physical health is a product of good mental health. Good mental health is a product of good spiritual health. So people need to focus. There's a lot of guys in prison that can do 1 million push-ups. But psychologically, people are arrested in their development. They don't have normalized involvement in society, so we struggle, right? So the mental health part on that pre-release with PICS is extremely important. Yes, absolutely.
Wow. Real quick before we go to break, have you been able to go back inside Algoa?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
We'll have to pick that up after
yes, sir.
Yes, sir. We're going to pick that up because I'm anxious to know what feelings that brought back and how did you manage that and how were you received by the guys when you first came back in. Okay, we are now going to take a short break. We are Voices of Impact and we will return shortly. Thank you.
Nonprofit leaders, do you want expert insights to grow your impact? Subscribe today to the KBL Impact Partners YouTube channel. You will receive powerful fundraising strategies, leadership tips, and exclusive content from Voices of Impact, the show that spotlights changemakers just like you. Don't miss an episode. Get the tools, inspiration, and the expert advice to raise more and do more for your mission. Subscribe now at youtube.com/@KBL Impact Partners and start transforming your nonprofit today. Welcome back to Voices of Impact and our special guest, Mataka Askari.
Right before break, you were about to tell us about that first time you went back to Algoa.
I was so excited.
How was that experience? Describe it.
It was so, it was a combination of excitement. My anxiety was through the roof.
I know. I just feel like I was so worried.
When
my
that door
anxiety
closed,
was
how did that
through
feel?
the roof. And so I went in, and the guys heard I was coming. So, I did time. So with a lot of these guys were family. And then the fact that I came in, I was working at a reentry organization. I was gaining success, right? It was inspirational to them. I remember a guy said, how did you fall into a job like this? I said, fall into a job? This ain't the type of job you fall into.
Right.
This is preparation and lived experience, right?
love that.
And so I said, you can't just fall into this job. You don't stumble into this type of work. This was intentional. But the beautiful thing of it is, man, Connections to Success taught me that my lived experience that I had been ashamed of has extreme value to it and can help other people. I wasn't able to realize the value of everything that I had gone through. To me, I was ashamed of it. It was stigma associated with it. I'm trying to get away from it. But in actuality, that's part of who I am. And I had to embrace it and pull the good up out of there. So I go back in Algoa, Brad. Man, I'm nervous. I don't know what's going on. I see the people. It's a couple of COs there that I know. What you doing back here? I was like, man, I'm back here to facilitate and teach a class. So the guys come up. And then they said, man, we heard about you. We know who you are. It's people down there.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I was like, yep. And so I was just like, man, listen, one thing about me, my integrity is important to me. I ain't here to sell you nothing I don't think that I don't think work. I am not only was I a participant, I'm an employee. They circled back around and hired me. They put their money where their mouth is. They believe in the mission. And so that's inspirational to people. Yeah. And so a lot of guys in prison believe that their felonies are a barrier to everything except warehouse work, retail work, factory work, stuff like that. I said, no, I don't lift cinder blocks and all of that. I said, I have certifications and credentials, right? And I facilitate classes and stuff, right? And I said, this is the beauty of this, right? Like, and regardless of any of these things, and this is just a segue into that, man, Connections to Success gave me some skills and some guidance and some support that led to the career path that I have now. The significance of that is that the greatest thing that I've done since I've come home is become a dad. I had my first child, my daughter. She's the love of my life. I have a lifetime achievement award that I got, and in my autobiography, in my clip, I talked about how I entered into criminal activity at the age of 10 because of poverty. Man, my daughter don't have to worry about that. Right. I got a college fund set up for her. She's the primary beneficiary on my life insurance policy. We just took her out of the private school because we wanted to get her through a kindergarten program that was accredited because her birthday fell a couple of days. And she is so brilliant. And the love of my life. My daughter does not know poverty. She has her own. I told somebody the other day, I said, man, I never had my own room as a child. She has her own everything. But the beauty of all of that is like the love. Yeah. That's it. I never knew I never had to learn to love from the perspective of the parent is the greatest thing that I've ever experienced in my life.
That's beautiful.
And to not be poor.
Yeah.
Wow.
To not be impoverished, right? For poverty not to be a barrier. Yeah. That's important. I was driving down here today and I said, man, I might stop and see what they got at these stores to grab me a couple of, just to have the ability to make that decision without having to wait till Friday or a certain day to be able to buy tennis shoes or plan or do this, that, all of that stuff. If my daughter needs some shoes, well, you don't have to wait till Friday. Let's go to the store now. My parents wasn't capable of doing that for me. So just being able to break that cycle, and set my daughter up for what I believe will be a great life, man, for me, if everything ceased for me right now, that would be fulfilling for me.
You are such an inspiration.
Man, that would be fulfilling. Thank you.
You just touch my heart.
In the introduction, we mentioned that you're also working with the Columbia schools.
Yes, sir.
What type of youth programming are you doing?
So we were doing the PPD class with youth, but what we do is offer supportive services because, we got lifelong engagement.
Right.
So we had augmented and modified the PPD curriculum to address some of the things that the children were struggling with.
And the PPD is the personal and
the personal and professional development, which is the 60-hour 2-week course Monday through Friday that we take for that we facilitate for participants.
And you do this in the school?
Yes, we were doing it in the school. We just offer the support now, but we're going back in there soon. But this is the thing. Young people are different from older people who are justice involved.
Sure.
Working on the reentry end versus the preventive end is different.
Yeah.
And then you have to develop ways to communicate and break the language barrier. So not only was it an opportunity for me to facilitate, but I learned.
Yeah. So what did you learn?
Go ahead.
Do you see yourself
Yes, sir.
in some of those youth? That this is me when I
So
was
that
15,
is-
16,
I'm
17.
glad you said that, because one of the schools that they had us working at was one of the most, it was the school for the children who had the most behavioral challenges.
Okay.
And a lot of people didn't want to work there, right? They was like, why you work there? Why you work there? And just what you said, I said, because they're me. That's
Yeah.
me, man. I'm not giving up. Nope.
That's
Not at all.
right.
That's me. And had I had somebody not give up on me, or had somebody who was there to guide me during those times of uncertainty, then this may not have been the path, right? I don't want people to have to come through to self-awareness and know that they have the ability to transform their life. They don't have to go to prison for that.
Yeah.
Right. If
Yeah.
we can provide them that at a young age, I feel like we can change the trajectory of their lives, because choices lead to outcomes.
That's right.
Right. And so whatever your
Yeah,
choices
lead to outcomes.
Yes, choices lead to outcomes,
powerful.
and we want to be able to make sure that we guide children, but not just guide them, but be the example so that they can make the right choices. I don't want none of them young children to go to prison
Right.
in order to be able to be successful, because you don't have to.
Right.
And that's what we do. That's what we do. Hope, resources, and a plan. You let people know that they're capable of doing it. We got the supports, and this is how we're going to utilize the supports to help you reach the goal and live your best life.
Love it. Love it. So at Connections to Success, you then also are working in the schools, and then also I know with alternative school programs as well.
Yes. So that program was like the alternative school program. One of the things we do is we offer the supports. People call on us all the time, and then my supervisor Tara, is actively working with different people in the community, the schools, reentry, other reentry organizations. One of the key points for the success of Connections to Success in Columbia is our collaboration and our partners. And Columbia Public Schools is a part of that. So we teach the PPD curriculum to them, and we also incentivize learning. I didn't tell you that either, but people want that money, so they come and they show up. But listen, that's what you do, because we punish choices that are poor. Then we need to incentivize and reward choices that are correct, better choices, because that's what if we can punish, we can reward.
So you're talking about we as a society.
As a society.
As a society.
Yeah, not connect. We don't punish or reward. We don't
Thank
even
you,
use
that's-
we don't even use the term good or bad choices.
Right.
Choices that get you closer to your goals, or choices that get
That's
you
right.
further away from
No
your
matter
goals.
whatever choice that is.
Yep.
Right? So
Mike.
your role at Connections to Success is a peer support specialist, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. And group trainer and facilitator. I
Yes.
facilitate and train groups. Yep. So my PPD, my personal and professional development facilitators training, that is one. My certified peer specialist, that's a credential that I have. If I didn't have that, I would still love to do the PPD.
Right.
Because but being a certified peer specialist, I'm trained in mental health and substance use. That gives me an advantage to be able to facilitate that curriculum in a better way. Brad said, do we talk about post-incarceration syndrome? We absolutely do in health.
Right.
Okay.
I love it.
Your story is just
Powerful.
incredible, and what you've done
Yeah.
in
Thank you
7
all.
years.
It's incredible.
What do you see in the next 5 years?
Well, can I just get in real quick before
Yes,
that?
ma'am.
I'd like to get the website for Connections to Success.
It's at Connection-
People want to get a hold of you.
Yes, connectionstosuccess.org. My number is, I got a new number.
Oh.
I don't know if
Or you can give your email address.
Yes, my email is meanes@connectionstosuccess.org. Look us up on our website. We have trainings in Columbia once a month. It's a 60-hour curriculum, 2 weeks. We do one every month for justice-involved individuals. Refer somebody to us. We also have funding now where we can serve individuals who are not justice involved. It's open to the entire community. And the crazy part about it is we've gained such a great reputation up there to people who are not justice involved, call us all the time. And now we have the funding to be able to serve them.
That's wonderful.
Yep.
Okay.
That is wonderful.
We're down to 30 seconds.
All right, 5
Where do you
years.
see yourself in 5 years?
Just being a great dad, hopefully being able to, be there for my daughter, I want to serve the community. I want to be able to help the quality of people's lives improve. I just want to be a great dad, and I just want to serve the community as
And
best I
you're doing
can.
all of that right now.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
You are
exponentially.
incredible. Thank you so much.
Thank
Yes,
you all.
thank you for being here. We love you.
Yeah. Brad and Kathy, extremely instrumental in my success.
Well, you've done everything.
You've
You're
done the
one
work.
that's done it.
You've done the work.
That's right.
And your story of personal
Yes.
transformation is incredible. And
Thank you,
now
sir.
you're giving hope to others.
That's right.
What a better thing
And
to be
your
than
daughter.
that.
Thank you.
So
Absolutely.
Thank
thank
you
you
all
all.
for having me.
this is Voices of Impact, and we will see you again in our next show. Have a great day.
Bye. Are you a nonprofit leader awake at night worrying about your organization's future? You're not alone. Did you know a staggering 30% of nonprofits don't survive past 10 years? Often it's a simple reality. No money, no mission.
There is hope. At KBL Impact Partners, we understand the value of every dollar and every donor. Did you know 58% of donors are willing to give more if they know the impact of their donation?
That's why we've created Frame Up for Funding, our exclusive 12-week program designed to empower nonprofit leaders just like you. Learn how you can effectively communicate with donors and funders, demonstrating the lasting impact of their investments.
Visit kblimpactpartners.com today and schedule your complimentary consultation. Together, let's make your mission possible.
Thank you for joining us on today's enlightening episode of Voices of Impact. Remember, each one of you has a power to make a difference in this world.
With the KBL Impact Partners team of over 75 years of experience in the nonprofit and corporate sectors, we are with you on this journey. We stand ready as more than advisors. We are partners and mentors committed to your vision for a better tomorrow. It's about creating solutions that resonate with your unique mission, with a dedication to personalized attention that brings out the very best in your organization.
And if you're ready to take your organization to the next level, visit kblimpactpartners.com and schedule your complimentary consultation. Ignite your impact, amplify your vision, and elevate your mission to lead the social movement.
This is Voices of Impact with KBL Impact Partners, where your mission fuels our dedication to social impact. Until next time, let's continue to be the inspiring voice of change in our communities and beyond.